you doing? My name's Dave, and if you're shocked at how amazing this synthesizer is, you can call me Daveypoo, the mobile music minstrel. How you doing? Kai Aras, the developer of Shockwave Phase Destructor Synth, reached out to me blindly on Twitter, and he said, hey, I see that you do videos. You might want to play around with my synth. Before I talk about the synth, let me talk about my history with this developer a little bit. Not that this is bad. Don't worry, Kai. I'm not going to say any bad things about you. I have a love-hate thing with this dev's apps, okay? I love RE1 tape delay. That, I think, is one of the best delays on iOS. Is one of the best tape delays I've used ever. I love it. I think it's great. I use it all the time. I have RM1 ring modulator, which I use less frequency, but is also a very quality app. I bought Volt synthesizer, and I like the sound of it, but I have a lot of issues with it. I feel like it freezes a lot. I get hung notes a lot. I want to like it a lot, but I have difficulties with it, and so I end up firing it a lot and going with a different app. I was eyeballing Shockwave when it was released, like, ooh, this looks cool, and then Jakob put out his video on it. I'm like, oh man, this looks super cool, and then Doug did his thing, and I'm like, oh man, I really want this synth. But you know, I'm kind of broke at the moment, and I am trying to be really particular, and to be honest, I don't need another synth. Now, I know what some of you are saying, well, nobody needs another synth. Sure, all these synths are different, that's half the fun of these synth apps, right? Especially doing it all on the iPad, but I'm trying to be good, I'm trying to be budget conscious, it's the holidays and all that, so I was trying to think, like, I don't need another synth. And I was like, just kind of over it when I went to Twitter and Kai had reached out to me and said, hey, you want to check out my app? Holy shit, this thing is good. It's really, really astounding how good this thing sounds. I've had so much fun with this synth. I keep coming back to it. Now, I like designing my own sounds. I don't always do it, but I try to. Whenever I'm recording a tune, I do my best to kind of dial in my own sound. And if I can't do it from the ground up, then I'll take somebody else's and I'll cut and paste in nickel and diamond and stuff until I get it where I want it. But I really try to come up with my own sounds. It's a personal thing for me. I don't like to use canned sounds. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I always like to challenge myself, and I feel like I'm lazy if I don't. That's just me. I really like messing around with synths, and I tend to make the same sorts of sounds a lot. I tend to go with funky bass lines and whining leads and stuff like that. But part of the way I learn a synth is to try to figure out how to make the synth do the thing I'm familiar with. And if I can get it there, then at least I know what that path is, and I can go to a different place next time. I've had so much fun designing sounds for this. In fact, I'm considering releasing a pack if I just can collect enough. Right now, I don't quite have enough. I really just wanted to talk about how awesome this app is. Really, I'm not going to give you a tour of the full thing. We're not going to do a tutorial today. Maybe we could do that in a future video, but I just wanted to advertise how awesome this app is because I was astonished that he reached out and offered it to me out of nowhere. That was pretty amazing. And, I mean, holy crap, this thing is great. I just used it on a track with a friend of mine, and he's like, what is that? Is that a Moog? What are you using there? And I was like, oh, man, it's Shockwave. So let me just show you some of the tones. Now I've got my Keith McMillan keyboard here set up just so I can get some tones. I'm outside and out and about today with no construction. But I was playing around with some of the sounds here. Like that. That is incredible sounding. What? I don't even know how I got there with that one. A lot of it is the reverb on this sounds excellent. It sounds excellent. It's reminiscent of Black Hole reverb. I mean, it's sweet. Like I said, I'm not here to really show you around. I'm here to just expound the virtues of this amazing app. So, you could do leads with it. I've come up with other ones that are less fuzzy, like this is one of a favorite of mine that I came up with. Now, Kai is a big proponent of MPE, MIDI polyphonic expression, okay? It's the newest MIDI standard, and what it is in a nutshell is rather than just the up and down motion of on and off from a piano key, you press the piano key down, it makes a noise, you lift it up, it stops making the noise. We've also got velocity, right, or pressure, like how hard you hit down the key is how loud the sound is. That's what it is on a piano. The harder you hit the keys on a piano, the louder it is. Excuse me, by nature of the mechanism, by how it works. So we've replicated that with MIDI. But with MIDI polyphonic expression, you get a whole bunch of other ways to affect the sound. You can, not, when you press down on the key, if you press more and keep pressing, that's pressure. You can use that to trigger something. The lateral movement on the key itself, if the key is my finger, depending on where you touch the key, you can get different sounds. And so different developers have made either apps or physical devices that can take advantage of all of these different parameters, okay? Kai has actually released a keyboard app that's built into this synth. In fact, we'll go here. Let's go to perform, yeah, that shows that. And then we can go to here and we can talk about all the different, like, there's a string one. Let's turn that on. You can have different characteristics. Now, I did a performance with this. The reason I bring it all up is because I used GeoShred as a controller for this, and it worked astoundingly well because you can get all the expressiveness out of your fingers from GeoShred, and this synth just takes, can handle all of the incoming control signals, and you can do stuff with it. They work good together. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. This synth is it's a phase distortion synthesizer, so it's not a standard subtractive synth in the way that, say, a Minimoog is, right? So the way it works is a little different. You'll find that, the other videos you'll see, they'll talk about this brightness knob here and how that kind of works like your filter. Okay, it's not really a filter in the true sense, but sonically that's sort of what it sounds like. But you can set all sorts of parameters in here to modulate other parameters. It's a I would call it a semi-modular synth, but it's pretty incredible. Here under the envelopes you can see you can have the keys trigger the envelope, you can have the end of the cycle, or the the LFO, the division, the probability, the logic. You can have all these different sections, but I was able to do something where I have this. Now, what's happening here is when I press a key, the oscillators are sounding in a fifth. If I continue to press other keys without lifting any of my fingers off the keyboard, I can continue playing notes with one of the oscillators while the other oscillator continues a drone. As soon as I lift my fingers off and I press another key, then it resets the drone to be whatever new key I'm at. So I can just get fifths, or I can hold this down. Okay. I've been able to come up with some really wacky routings in here, and I'm not doing anything that's all that a-traditional. I still like to be grounded in my synth pads. I still want to play them, right? And I play a lot of funky stuff and a lot of staccato things. So you can get it to sound like an analog synth. But I don't know, it's just fun, man. It's just fun. The purple really appeals to me. And Kai, when he messaged me, actually said, like, oh, hey, man, I think the color's right up your alley. He was very right. Yeah, the color, I stick with the purple because the purple appeals to me. But this app is just incredible. It's sonically rich. I love sounds that phase. I like when you hold a note when it sounds like the sound itself has movement to it. So this is the filter is opening and closing, and I've got the two oscillators phasing against each other, right? And they're, I think, out of tune just a hair, right? So like everything is giving the sound this sort of morphing. That's why I called it morphing lead. Let's do my bass line here. So they've got a built-in sequencer here too, which is super sick. Like, I've got the da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. That's basically the line that's playing. It's playing on the top sequencer here, but the key is changing based on the bottom sequencer. I mean, so you can have this set as one 16-step sequencer or two 8-step sequencers, and they can route all over the place. So you can have one sequencer controlling the notes and the other sequencer controlling the envelope. The options in here are pretty incredible, and this app is it's stunning. It really is. And I haven't been having the issues with Shockwave that I had with Volt, although I'm sensing a theme here in the names of these apps now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, yeah, I haven't had the same problems. I haven't really had the hung notes or the freezing problems that I found in Volt. So this has actually made me go back and re-explore Volt. One of the downsides of Shockwave is that it's monophonic. So, I mean, if that's a downside for you, I love monosynths. Monosynths make me sound like I know what I'm doing. So it doesn't bother me, but I could see wanting polyphony out of this because it's just so sonically rich and you can do so much with it. So I really just wanted to say thank you, Kai. This app it really is something special. I would love to see a hardware version of this. I would be very interested in a hardware version of this just so I would never have to get rid of it ever. I love it. It's great. So I really recommend going out and getting Shockwave Synth. It's really something special. I'm not familiar with phase distortion synthesis that much, more so than this app. I can't say I've used it before. I think I tried NPD phase distortion synth, and it sounded fine. It was cool. I liked it, but I don't own it, and I haven't explored it further. So yeah, you should go get Shockwave. It's super worth it. It's super, super worth it. And Kai has a good presence on the AudioBus forum, so, he's been really good about, taking people's bug reports and notes and stuff and fixing them. If you want a holiday gift, you should gift somebody Shockwave Synth. It's pretty awesome. If you like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to know more. Please share it on your Facebook page. Come see me on Facebook. Come see me on Instagram. Come see me on Twitter and all the social media stuff. Go tell all your friends and all your family that I'm the man, because everybody should know that I'm the man, and everybody should keep talking about how much the man I am so that everybody else that doesn't know that I'm already the man should know that I'm the man, and they can know that I'm the man, and then everyone understands that Daveypoo is the man, and there is no argument. So, thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys next fucking time. Later.